Seems legit.
Hello Legitimates and welcome back to my channel. Today I am making a perfect item to put in one of my Christmas hampers. So let's just get straight into it. I have this, which is a wash away stabilizer, and it feels like plastic. Mine got a little bit wet, which is why it looks terrible. That is tearaway stabilizer. You'll need your hoop. I personally love a 5x7 hoop for towels, and this is just a bath towel. The other thing that's going to be really handy that I don't have right this second is a chalk pen. So with this stuff, I don't like the fact that it moves, so you need to roll it in the opposite way to make it stay where it's told. So that worked perfectly. Then we need to find the center of our towel. Please ignore my pile of mess, it's a process. We also need to make sure we're putting it on the right side of the towel. There is in fact a right and a wrong side. So see this edge? The back is folded over, so that edge is the back there. So you want to have the towel right sides up, and then you fold it in half. Now there's a couple of ways you can mark this as the center. You can just kind of push it down with your hands, and some towels that works. Sometimes you can iron it, and you just need to iron that edge. I am going to instead use a chalk pen to draw it on. So what you want to do is you want to lay your stabilizer underneath, just on top of the bottom half of your hoop. And then I kind of drape it roughly halfway over. And then open it. Now you can see that there is a crease, but it's not very good. And this I try and keep as one whole piece. You can do it where you spray it down. I personally like to just kind of hoop it in with everything else. But each to their own. So I'm going to mark that center point because it's easier to see with chalk for you and for me. And I can't be bothered setting my iron up. It's a lot of cords and stuff that I can't be bothered doing right now. So fold it in half, mark that part, and then you can just follow the lines of the towel. I'm basically just colouring in the line on the towel that is the centre one. I know it's not a perfectly straight line, but you can see I know what I'm doing. You can rule it if it makes you feel better. So then we're going to just lay this stuff over the top, and I'm avoiding all the areas where it has basically got a little bit wet and then stuck together, and then I tried to pull it apart. So I'm going to put the hoop up against the edge of the towel. Now this is important if you're going to do sets where it's like a family set, because you want all the towels to try and be as like similar as possible. So I like to run it right next to the edge. You also need to remember to open your hoop up a lot more to be able to fit the towel in. It is quite excessive. And then you can see I'm just tugging on the plastic a little bit to make it firmer inside the hoop. Now, if this is too much for you, you can use basting spray on the bottom layer and the top layer, and basting spray the whole lot, and then just shove it in the hoop. It's whatever is easiest for you. I was trying to do this thing where I didn't use it because I won't be pre-washing the towels before I send them away. So the less base stabilizing spray I can use, the better. So that's all in. Now we're going to go over to the machine. Now I'm just using a font that's in the machine, and I always face it so the bulk of the towel will be facing over the edge of the machine, which means the first letter needs to be at the bottom, facing, like going upwards. I find that the easiest way to do towels. You don't want the towel in other directions because it's much harder to keep out of the way. I also like to smooth over that base, the top wash away stabilizer. If it gets caught up underneath, it can cause dramas. You can cut it off, but I find that's quite wasteful for this stuff. And it's not the cheapest stabilizer around. So I have also set it to a density of 105. Now this machine has the option where you can change the density in the machine. And I personally think you want to change it for towels just so that you don't see any fluff in between it. Personal preference. I'm going to speed this up as well, just so we can get to the end, but you can still watch. So I have gone with 10 times faster. It didn't really take all that long at all, but I think it looks really, really nice. And in the machine, it has two options of a J. So this J I can join, and the other one I'm going to put on the face washer will not have the loopy tail, so as to not join. But this is a pretty quick custom design option, especially for adults. Adults love a new towel, and we always kind of neglect ourselves to buy one. So I've spent money on a nice towel. These are Coo, which is quite nice. But now that it's all finished, you just pop the hoop off, rip this stuff off. Rips off really, really easy. And we're going to leave the little bits in there because it will disintegrate once it's washed. You can pick them out if you really want to, but I'm not too fussed. And then we're going to rip off all of the stabilizer on the back, but you are going to pay attention to get those little bits out. If you want to, you can use that wash away on both sides of the towel. I'm not going to stop you. It's just, I like doing it this way. Yes, it's more fiddly with the picking out of the letters, but I like it. But you can use the plastic on both sides. You can get a wash away that looks more like the tearaway stuff there. There's so many options. I'm trying to be conscious of how many things I buy. So that's all done there, and I think that looks wonderful. One thing we do need to do though is grab some snips and snip any loose threads. There's mainly some on the back. You don't want other people to be cutting them if they don't know what they're doing, and you want it to not look bad. So you just cut them all out. On the top as well, there's usually one on the top. I don't know why, there just always is. So that one's completely done. Let's move on to the face washer. So it's exactly the same principle, just on a smaller scale. So this is my 4x4 hoop. Again, tearaway on the bottom. You need to open your hoop right out to be able to get the towel in. And then we're going to put the wash away on top. Now I'm going to put the tip right in the center like that and put it on an angle. I think it's pretty. You don't have to do this. You can put it in the middle if you want to. But this is how I like to do it. It definitely is easier if you base all the layers together. I should really, really reiterate that. And then you just want to push it in and we're pretty good to go. So let's pop it in the machine. I missed some of the recording, sue me. And I've sped this up as well. Now I had a broken thread. So you always backstitch. I like to backstitch 20 stitches. Because it never stops directly on time, and I find 20 lines you up just before you run out of thread. So to lock in the old ones and the new ones by going over it, and then it can finish off. The longer the stitch, the slower the machine goes, but that's pretty much done now. It really is that simple. I loved giving these as gifts. They're fancy. I went with a gold thread just to be extra fancy, but you can pick their favorite color. You can do silver or gold, whatever matches their bathroom setting. So that's it. I will be making a lot of these sets in different colors for all of the boxes and the hamper. The towels do take up a fair bit of space, but again, it's a luxurious gift that people often don't give themselves. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel for the next one. Okay, see you guys. Bye.